If there's one piece of advice I'd give anyone, it's this: don't waste your time regretting what's already happened. That part's locked in. If you're going to do anything, do something about what's happening right now. Right now, I'm staring at my laptop, seeing my wife with someone else, and the only clear thought in my head is that I paid way too much money for a private investigator to tell me what I already knew. Marcus Reed took $3,000 from me for 2 weeks of tailing her around town. Honestly, my neighbor Helen could have saved me the cash. She's been shooting me those sympathetic, pity-filled looks for months, the kind that quietly scream "poor idiot" without her ever opening her mouth. But I didn't want suspicion. I needed proof. Real proof. Solid, undeniable, courtroom-ready evidence. The video doesn't leave much room for doubt. It's sharp enough to count dust particles. The setting is Ethan Caldwell's apartment on the 15th floor, huge windows from floor to ceiling, the kind of view he probably brags about every time he hosts a dinner party. Naomi is by the glass, her dress slightly messy. Ethan is nearby, laughing together. They're laughing. Actually laughing. Not nervous laughs. Not guilty ones. They look like two people having the time of their lives. That's the part that really hits me. It's not the sex itself. It's not even the betrayal, at least not on its own. It's the happiness on her face. The real kind. Unfiltered. Alive. She hasn't looked at me like that in 2 years. I shut the laptop and glance at my watch. 3:15 a.m. In exactly 9 hours, I'm scheduled to marry this woman again. She called it a vow renewal. Said it was about recommitting, about finding our way back to each other. She looked at me with those big green eyes, all sincerity and hope, and said, "We've grown apart, Daniel. This will fix it." I believed her. Or maybe I wanted to. I hired a wedding planner. Booked the Harborview Inn. Sent out invitations to 150 people. Dropped $28,000 on a celebration meant to prove our love was still alive. The irony is thick enough to pour concrete with. And I build houses for a living, so I know a thing or two about that. My phone buzzes. It's Colin, my foreman. "You awake? Need to talk about the Henderson site?" I text him back right away. "Can't sleep anyway. Coffee at the Anchor in 20? His reply comes fast. "You got it, boss." The rusty Anchor technically doesn't open until 6, but Margaret has been letting me and Colin sneak in through the back ever since we remodeled her kitchen 3 years ago. When I walk in, she already has coffee brewing. The smell cuts through the old beer stench that never fully leaves the place. "You look like hell, Daniel," Margaret says, sliding a mug toward me. She's somewhere in her early 60s, built like a bulldog, with a heart way bigger than her filter. "Wedding jitters," I tell her. She snorts. "Jitters? Please. I've seen that face before." That's the face of a man who knows something. Before I can answer, Colin stomps in, his boots thudding against the wooden floor. He's been with me 8 years now, since I started taking on my own construction contracts. Loyal to a fault. Protective as hell. Built like he could lift a truck if he needed to. He drops onto the stool beside me. "All right. What's really going on? And don't give me that wedding jitters crap," he adds. "You don't do jitters." I pull out my phone and show him a screenshot from the video. Nothing graphic, just Naomi and Ethan sitting close in a restaurant. They are sitting close together, clearly comfortable with each other. Colin's jaw tightens instantly. "When?" he asks. 4 months, I say. Started when Ethan transferred here from Boston. He exhales slowly. "You gonna call off the wedding?" I smile, and he actually leans back a little, like the expression caught him off guard. "No," I tell him. "I'm going through with it. Every detail. Every second. Exactly as planned." He studies me for a long moment. "You've got something in mind." "I've got everything," I say. "And tonight at 6:30, right in the middle of the toasts, everyone else will too." Margaret refills my coffee without asking. I always liked you, Daniel, she says. You're quiet, but you're not weak. People forget that, I reply. They underestimate quiet. That's usually their first mistake. The wedding day unfolds like a well-rehearsed production. I feel calm. Too calm. Almost unsettlingly calm. My best man, Brian, soon to be my ex-best man, though he doesn't know that yet, keeps checking on me while we're getting ready in the Harborview's groom suite. You okay? He asks. You're way too relaxed. Most guys are a mess on their wedding day. You look like you're about to watch a football game. Maybe I just know exactly what I want, I say, straightening my tie in the mirror. What I want is revenge. Cold. Precise. Completely devastating. Brian laughs. Naomi's lucky. You're the most stable guy I know. Stable. That's the word people always use. Daniel Pierce. Reliable contractor. Dependable. Predictable. Maybe even boring. The guy who pays his bills on time and never rocks the boat. I've spent years building that image. It comes in handy when people stop watching closely. The ceremony itself is beautiful. Naomi looks stunning in white, which feels like a cruel joke, but I keep smiling anyway. We exchange vows. Her voice shakes with emotion. Real tears spill down her cheeks. Either she's a sociopath, or she's convinced herself so completely that she actually believes the role she's playing. When it's my turn, I say I do, and I mean it. I do accept this commitment. I do honor the vows. I just don't promise to honor her. The reception follows in the same waterfront space, all glowing lights and sunset views. 200 guests now, she added more. Said everyone should be there to witness our love. Careful what you wish for. Dinner is served. Salmon or beef. Expensive wine. A cake that costs more than my first car. I make polite conversation, accept congratulations, and play my part. Naomi works the room effortlessly, smiling, laughing, touching arms. She's good at this. The charm. The performance. Ethan Caldwell is here, of course. Table 7, sitting with the business crowd. He's avoided eye contact with Naomi all evening, which is smart. But not smart enough. I watched him step outside earlier to take a call. 3 minutes later, Naomi disappeared to fix her makeup. They met in the garden. Whispered for 30 seconds. He touched her arm. She smiled. I locked every detail into my memory. At 6:25, the DJ announces it's time for toasts. Brian goes first, telling a story about how we met in college, how I helped him pass structural engineering by building a bridge model out of beer cans. The room laughs. Then Naomi's maid of honor, Emily, stands up. Emily, who knew about the affair. Emily, who helped cover it up. Emily, who lied to my face more times than I can count. She lifts her glass and begins to speak. Emily's toast is dripping with cliches, true love, soulmates, destiny, all of it delivered in that sugary sweet tone that makes my stomach turn. I seriously consider throwing up right there at the table. Then it's my turn. I stand up, wrap my hand around the microphone, and the room slowly settles into silence. Every eye turns toward me. Naomi is smiling like she's won the lottery, looking at me with pure trust and affection. For just a split second, barely a breath, I almost feel guilty. Almost. Thank you all for being here, I begin. Naomi and I have been together for 6 years. Married for 5. And for most of that time, I honestly believed I knew everything about her. I pause. I thought we didn't keep secrets. Naomi's smile twitches, just slightly. Good. Her instincts are finally kicking in. But recently, I continue, I learned something I didn't know before. Something that changed everything. I reach into my pocket and pull out a small remote. So instead of a traditional toast, I thought I'd share a short video. A montage, if you will. One that shows our relationship as it really is. I press the button. The screens around the room, set up for the slideshow Naomi planned, flicker on. But instead of wedding photos and smiling memories, the footage switches to Marcus's surveillance video. High definition. Sharp enough to remove any doubt. Naomi and Ethan at a restaurant, sharing private moments. Walking into his apartment building together. Timestamps roll across the bottom of the screen. 4 months. Dozens of meetings. The room goes dead quiet. Not empty quiet, heavy quiet. The kind filled with gasps, whispers, and the collective sound of 150 people realizing something terrible at the exact same time. All the color drains from Naomi's face. She stares at the screens like someone watching their own sentence being read aloud. Ethan tries to sink into his chair, which is impressive considering he's 6'2" and wearing a bright blue suit that might as well be a spotlight. I let the video run for 30 seconds. That's all it takes. Then I shut it off. Somehow, the silence gets louder. So here's my toast, I say, lifting my glass. My voice doesn't shake. It's calm. Almost pleasant. To honesty. To truth. And to the fact that I'm very, very good at planning ahead. I drain my champagne in one swallow. Oh, and Naomi, I add casually, the annulment papers are already filed. You'll be officially served on Monday. I glance at my watch. This marriage lasted exactly 4 hours and 17 minutes. That might be some kind of record. Then I turn and walk out. The sound that erupts behind me is spectacular. By Sunday morning, the video is everywhere. I'm sitting at home, my house now, since Naomi packed up and left Saturday night drinking coffee and watching the view count climb. Someone posted the footage online. Probably more than one person. By noon, it's been shared over 40,000 times. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. I've ignored 43 calls so far. 3 from Naomi. 7 from her mother. 1 from Ethan. That one almost makes me laugh. I honestly can't imagine what he thinks he has to say. The only call I answer is from Marcus Reed. You caused quite a stir, he says, clearly amused. My phone's been ringing non-stop. Suddenly everyone in town wants a private investigator. Happy to help your business, I say. You know this isn't over, right? He adds. A woman like that won't go down quietly. I'm counting on it, I reply. Because that wedding video? That was just the opening act. I've been planning this for 3 months ever since the first suspicion took root. Every step mapped out. Every possible reaction accounted for. I'm not just exposing Naomi. I'm dismantling her entire life. Phase 1, exposing the truth. Complete. Phase 2, financial collapse. Monday morning, I'm waiting at the bank when the doors open. I've already frozen our joint accounts legally after flagging suspected fraud. My business accounts are moved to a different bank entirely. Every shared password is changed. Streaming services. Utilities. Credit cards. Everything. Naomi has zero access to money. Her personal account has maybe $3,000 in it. Her credit cards? All tied to accounts I controlled. I reported them as potentially compromised and had them frozen pending investigation. Is it petty? Absolutely. Is it legal? According to my lawyer, yes, given the circumstances. By Monday afternoon, I'm sitting in my lawyer's office finalizing the annulment. Leonard Brooks is 60, sharp as hell, and enjoying this far more than he should. She's going to fight, Leonard says, scanning the paperwork. She'll claim emotional distress. Try for alimony. Go after your business. Let her, I say. I have records of everything. Every asset I brought into the marriage. Every dollar I earned. Every cent she spent. And she signed a prenup. A solid one. She had her own lawyer, Leonard notes. She did, I confirm. Emily recommended him. Guy named Michael Park. Works at her firm. Leonard's eyebrows lift. The same Emily who was her maid of honor. Who knew about the affair? The very same. That's a conflict of interest, he says slowly. If we prove Emily influenced her legal counsel while knowing Naomi was committing fraud. He smiles. It's not a friendly smile. Her lawyer could lose his license. And the prenup becomes bulletproof. Funny how things work out, I say. By Tuesday, the fallout is in full force. Naomi is suspended from her job at Meridian Insurance while they investigate whether she used company resources to carry out the affair. Someone anonymously tipped off her boss about extended lunch breaks and misuse of the company car. That someone was me. Ethan is in worse shape. Turns out he's married. His wife, yeah, that detail never came up, has already filed for divorce. His company is reviewing his position, which is corporate code for you're done, but legal needs paperwork. And Emily? Emily has her own mess to deal with. Wednesday afternoon, Colin and I are at the Rusty Anchor when she walks in. The place goes quiet instantly. Small town. Big scandal. Her face is red. Eyes swollen from crying. She spots me and storms over. You coward. Emily, I say calmly, can I buy you a drink? You destroyed her, she snaps. You destroyed everything. I take a slow sip of my beer. I showed a video. A real video. Of things that actually happened. If that destroyed everything, I continue, maybe the foundation was already rotten. She loved you, Emily says. She had an interesting way of showing it, I reply. And hey, you were there for all of it, right? Covering for her. Lying for her. How many times did you cover for her? I ask Emily. How many nights did you tell me she was working late when she was really with Ethan? Her cheeks flare red. I was just trying to be a good friend. No, I say. You were helping her lie. I let that hang for a second, then add casually, by the way, how's your job going? I heard HR is suddenly curious about your expense reports. Something about personal dinners being submitted as business meetings. Her eyes snap wide. You didn't do that. I didn't have to, I reply. I just gave them a nudge. Turns out they're very interested once they start looking. From what I hear, she's been surprisingly inventive with company money. Almost impressive. Almost. You're going to regret this, she whispers, venom in her voice. I regret a lot of things, I tell her. Marrying Naomi. Trusting you. Believing loyalty meant anything. I motion vaguely around us. But this? This doesn't even make the list. She storms out without another word. Colin watches her go, then looks at me. Man, he says slowly. That was cold. No, I answer. That was the last bit of warmth I had to give. The next betrayal hits harder. Brian. My best man. 15 years of history. He calls Thursday night and asks if we can talk. Says Main Street Diner. I agree, mostly out of curiosity. He's already there when I walk in, hunched in a booth, hands folded, wearing that expression people use when they think they're about to save someone. Daniel, he says, we need to talk. Then talk. You went too far, he says. What you did at the wedding, I understand. Anyone would have snapped. But this? He gestures vaguely. Going after her job. Her money. Emily's career. This is turning ugly. I lean back. Ugly. Yes, he says. Vindictive. Cruel. This isn't you. Maybe you only knew the version of me that was convenient. He leans forward. Naomi screwed up. Badly. But she's still human. She deserves a chance to rebuild her life. She dismantled mine piece by piece, I say. For 4 months. She lied to me every day. Planned a vow renewal while sleeping with another man. Spent my money on hotels and gifts for him. And you're asking me to be merciful? I'm asking you to be bigger than this. That makes me laugh. A real laugh. Let me guess, I say. She called you. Brian hesitates. That's all the answer I need. She's desperate, he says quietly. She's lost everything. She lost her job, I say. Her reputation. Her marriage. Don't skip that last one, I add. That part matters. I'm your friend, he says. I'm trying to protect you. This path you're on, it's going to hollow you out. What I need, I say evenly, is for people to stop telling me how I should feel about being betrayed. And what I really need is for my best friend not to side with the person who stabbed me in the back. I'm not siding with her, he insists. I'm being rational. Then be rational somewhere else. I stand up. We're done, Brian. With this talk. With whatever we used to be. His face tightens. You don't mean that. I do. Don't call me. Don't come by. This is over. I walk out and don't look back. By Friday, 3 more friendships are gone. Apparently they formed a group: Brian, his wife Laura, and our mutual friends Andrew and Olivia. They've decided I'm spiraling. That I need help. That anger has taken over. They're wrong. Anger burns fast and dumb. This is controlled. Measured. Intentional. Andrew calls that evening. We need to talk. All of us. Andrew Worrow. At my place. An intervention? I ask. A conversation, he says. I'll be there. I'm not hiding from anything. I want to hear them say it out loud. Saturday afternoon, I pull up to Andrew's house. Nice place. I'd know, I built the addition myself. Everyone's already there. Sitting together. Serious faces. Concern arranged neatly in a circle. Daniel, thanks for coming, Andrew says. We're worried. You shouldn't be. You've changed, Olivia says softly. You're harder. Angrier. My wife cheated on me, I say. That tends to rearrange a man. But the way you're handling it, Laura adds, it's destructive. One life, I correct. And she destroyed mine first. That's not fair, Brian says. You're still successful. You still have everything. My marriage was fake, I say. My wife was lying. 5 years of my life were fiction. But yes, I add, I own property. That totally balances it out. We're saying you need to move on, Andrew says. Heal. I look at each of them. Let me ask you something. Did any of you know? Silence. Did anyone suspect something and choose not to tell me? More silence. Then Olivia breaks. I saw them once. At a restaurant. I thought it might be work. When? I ask. 3 months ago. 3 months. Anyone else? Laura raises her hand halfway. I'd heard rumors. From Emily. But you didn't tell me. I didn't want to hurt you. I nod. So here's what actually happened. You all knew something. Or suspected something. And you let me plan that vow renewal. Let me spend 30 grand. Let me stand up there blind. But now that I fought back, I continue, you're suddenly worried about my emotional health. That's not fair, Brian says. No, I reply. This is fair. You protected her. You chose her comfort over my truth. And now you want to lecture me about limits. Daniel, Olivia starts. I'm done, I say. With all of you. You want to stay friends with Naomi? That's your choice. But you don't get to keep me too. You already made your choice, I tell them. You made it 3 months ago, the moment you decided silence was easier than honesty. I head for the door. You're going to regret this, Andrew calls after me. You keep pushing people away like this, you'll end up alone. I stop and turn back. I'd rather stand alone, I say, than be surrounded by people who smile at me while sharpening knives behind my back. At least alone, I know where I stand. 2 weeks after the wedding that wasn't, I'm sitting in my office trailer at the construction site when Marcus Reed calls. Got something you're going to want to hear, he says. It's about Ethan. I'm listening. Guy's got a pattern, Marcus continues. 2 previous jobs. Both ended ugly. At the first one, he lost his job due to previous workplace issues. At the second, there was an incident involving a coworker's wife. Nothing officially proven, but he quit real fast after. So this isn't new, I say. Not even close, Marcus replies. And here's the part you're really going to like, Naomi knew. My grip tightens on the phone. I pulled emails between her and Emily, Marcus says. 6 months old. They joked about it. Called him dangerous and exciting. Send me everything. The emails hit my inbox less than an hour later. They're brutal. Not just proof of the affair, proof that Naomi knew exactly who Ethan was. That she understood the risk and chased it anyway. That she enjoyed it. There are text chains too. Detailed conversations about hiding the affair. About timing things around my work schedule. About flipping the script if I ever got suspicious. One message from Naomi stops me cold. Daniel's so trusting. It's almost too easy. Emily replies. Just don't get caught. You've got a good thing with Daniel's money. I read that line 5 times. Daniel's money. Not Daniel. Not our marriage. Not the life we built. Just my money. That's when it finally clicks. This was never about love. Or passion. Or chemistry. It was strategy. Naomi wanted safety and stability from me and excitement from Ethan. She was playing both sides. And if everything collapsed, she'd planned to walk away with as much as she could. The prenup must have thrown a wrench into that plan. I remember now how she'd pushed back on it. Said it meant I didn't trust her. I'd stood firm. Eventually she'd agreed. Probably thinking she'd work around it later. She just didn't expect me to catch her before she reached the endgame. I forward everything to Leonard Brooks. Then I make another call. Meridian Insurance, how may I direct your call? Human Resources, I say. I have information regarding employee misconduct. By Monday, Naomi isn't suspended anymore. She's fired. Not gently. Not quietly. Terminated. The emails and texts prove she used company resources for personal matters, falsified expense reports, and violated the company's ethics policy. In insurance, that's a career death sentence. She's not just unemployed. She's radioactive. Word travels fast in professional circles. Emily doesn't survive the fallout either. Same violations, plus the financial irregularities I'd flagged earlier. Turns out she'd been skimming for years. Small amounts. Quiet amounts. But theft adds up. Ethan's company finally pulls the trigger. Terminated for cause. His wife's divorce moves fast. He's out of the house, stuck in a budget motel on the edge of town, driving a rental because his wife kept the BMW. I should feel triumphant. Marcus Storius. Instead, I feel unfinished. There's one last thing I need to do. Tuesday night, I head to the Rusty Anchor. It's packed, wing night always is. I spot Brian and Andrew sitting at a corner table with their wives. They see me too. Conversation dies instantly. I walk over. Can we talk? I ask. Brian blinks. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I pull up a chair. All four of them watch me like they're bracing for an explosion. I've been thinking about what you said, I begin. About moving on. About healing. Daniel, Laura starts. I raise a hand. Let me finish. You were right about one thing. This consumed me. The revenge. The anger. It took over my life for weeks. They're nodding now. Hope creeping back in. But here's the truth, I say. I don't regret it. Any of it. The hope drains from their faces. What I did to Naomi. To Ethan. To Emily. They earned every consequence. They made deliberate choices. They hurt me on purpose. I responded. What I do regret, I continue, is trusting the wrong people. Believing friendship meant loyalty. Believing that when I was betrayed, the people closest to me would stand with me. Instead, you protected her. You knew or suspected and said nothing. You let me humiliate myself. Then you judged me for refusing to stay quiet. We were trying to help, Olivia says softly. No, I reply. You were trying to ease your own guilt. To convince yourselves you weren't part of it. But you were. And I can't forgive that. I stand up. So this is goodbye. For real. I hope you're happy with your choices. I hope your lives turn out exactly the way you expect. I'm done pretending we're friends. I walk away. This time, no one calls after me. The town festival hits the first weekend of June. Big turnout every year, food trucks, craft booths, live bands. I almost skip it. Colin talks me out of it. Hiding makes you look guilty, he says. Walk in like you've got nothing to be ashamed of. So I go. The place is packed. Familiar faces everywhere. Most people avoid eye contact. Some whisper as I pass. A few, mostly guys from the crew and regulars from the anchor, nod or raise a hand. I've become a split decision. To some, I'm a hero. To others, I'm a villain. I'm grabbing a beer from one of the trucks when I hear shouting near the main stage. I turn. It's Naomi. She looks wrecked. Hair yanked into a sloppy ponytail. No makeup. Jeans and a plain t-shirt where designer clothes used to be. She's arguing with Ethan. I move closer. This is your fault, Naomi snaps. You said it would be fine. You promised he'd never find out. You're the one who wanted the vow renewal, Ethan fires back. I told you it was risky. You said you needed more time, Naomi says. You said you were leaving your wife. Ethan laughs bitterly. I wasn't going anywhere. You just wanted both. People are staring now. Phones are coming out. This is about to be everywhere. You're insane, Ethan says. I'm done. Done? Naomi snaps. You're done? Her voice cracks as she keeps going. I lost everything because of you. No, I say evenly. You lost everything because you got caught. That's when she sees me. Our eyes meet across the crowd, and for a split second the noise fades out. Then she starts pushing through people, anger pulling her forward like a current. When she reaches me, her face is twisted, rage mixed with something uglier. Panic. You, she spits. You did this. You ruined my life. I didn't ruin anything, I say calmly. I just showed people who you really are. You loved me, she says desperately. I made a mistake, but I loved you. You loved my bank account, I reply. That's not the same thing. She suddenly raises her hand, clearly upset, but doesn't strike me. I catch her wrist without effort. Don't, I say quietly. You're a coward, she snarls. Cold. Empty. Maybe, I say. But at least I'm honest. And that's more than you ever were. She tries to yank free. Let go of me. I will, I say. But you're going to hear this first. Every choice you made was yours. Every lie. Every secret. Every time you picked him instead of me. You don't get to pin the fallout on me. You don't get to play the victim. This is your mess. Own it. I let go. She stumbles backward, tears streaking down her face. I hate you, she whispers. I know, I say. I'm fine with that. She turns and runs. Ethan doesn't chase her. He's already heading the other way, disappearing into the crowd. People watch them go. Then, slowly, their attention shifts to me. I lift my beer in a mock salute. Show's over. Someone laughs. Then another. The tension snaps like a stretched wire finally breaking. People turn back to their drinks, their food, their conversations. Life resumes. Colin steps up beside me. That was cold. That was necessary. You feel better? I think about it. Not better, I say finally. But finished. Yeah, Colin nods. That tracks. 2 days later, the last piece falls into place. Tuesday evening, there's a knock at my door. It's Helen, my neighbor, holding a casserole dish like it's evidence and wearing that expression that means news is coming. Thought you could use a real meal, she says, walking straight past me into the kitchen. Helen, you don't have to. Hush, she says. I'm old, I'm bored, and I like feeding people. She sets the dish down and turns serious. I need to tell you something. Been debating it for days. Tell me what? Emily and Ethan. I blink. Emily and Ethan? I saw them together. 3 weeks before your wedding. That Italian place downtown. How together? Hands. Kissing. Very together. My brain stutters, then clicks. Emily was sleeping with Ethan. Ethan was sleeping with Naomi. Naomi was married to me. It's betrayal stacked inside betrayal, like some kind of sick puzzle box. I sit down hard. So Emily set this whole thing up, I say slowly. Pushed Naomi toward him. Covered for her. Helped hide it. Helen nods. Or, she says carefully, she wanted Naomi distracted. Remember that promotion Naomi got last year? Emily wanted it. If Naomi's marriage fell apart, she'd be too busy cleaning up the mess to compete. But instead, Helen adds, you exposed everything and they both got fired. Karma, she says, has a sense of humor. I start laughing. I can't stop it. It's too twisted. Too absurd. Too perfectly awful. So I wasn't just betrayed, I say between laughs. I was a pawn. Emily used me to take Naomi down. And I helped her. Does that really change anything? Helen asks. Naomi still cheated. Still lied. She made her choices. Yeah, I say. She did. Helen pats my shoulder. For what it's worth, I think you handled it exactly right. You think so? I think you're human. You got hurt. You pushed back. The world's obsessed with forgiveness. Sometimes people need consequences. She heads for the door, then turns. That casserole lasts 3 days. Freeze what you don't eat. Thanks, Helen. Anytime, honey. 3 months later, life looks different. Pierce construction is booming. Turns out public sympathy, or at least curiosity, is good for business. We're booked through next spring. I've made new friends. People who didn't know the old version of me. People who judge me for who I am now. Colin and I are closer than ever. Margaret at the Anchor treats me like family. Naomi moved back to Boston. Lives with her parents. Works retail now. Ethan ended up in New York, I hear. Divorce finalized last month. Emily's still in town. Unemployed. Untouchable. Brian called last week. Left a voicemail apologizing. Said he finally understood. Said he should have stood by me. I haven't called him back. Maybe someday. Maybe not. The annulment went through clean. Prenup held firm. Naomi walked away with her clothes and nothing else. Leonard Brooks sent me a bottle of scotch to celebrate. We drank it in his office while he told stories about worse divorces. I'm not dating. Not interested. Trust feels expensive right now. But I'm okay. Being alone is honest. Saturday afternoon, I'm at the Anchor having a beer when the door opens and a woman walks in. Mid-30s. Auburn hair. Confident stride. She scans the room, spots me, and heads over. Daniel Pierce? That's me. I'm Allison Grant, she says. I'm a writer. I'd like to interview you. About what? The wedding. The fallout. What came after? I think it could be an article, she says. Maybe even a book. I study her. She's serious. Professional. And there's something else in her eyes. Not judgment. Understanding. Why? I ask. She smiles slightly. Because everyone's talking about what you did. And some people, she adds, think you're a hero. Other people will call you the bad guy, Allison says. But they're judging from the outside. No one's actually heard your side. Your real words. Your real voice. You think anyone would actually care? I ask. I do, she says without hesitation. Anyone who's ever been betrayed will care. Anyone who's been told to forgive and forget when all they wanted was to stand up for themselves. Anyone who got labeled petty or cruel just because they refused to swallow the pain quietly. Yeah, she finishes. I think those people will listen. I sit with that for a moment. Telling the story. Owning it completely. No apologies. No excuses. No rewriting history to make myself look softer. Just the truth. All right, I say. Let's talk. She pulls out a recorder and flips open a notebook. Start at the beginning. When did something first feel wrong? So I tell her everything. The gut feeling that wouldn't go away. Hiring the PI. The video. The moment my world cracked open. The wedding reveal. The money moves. The fallout. The friends who vanished. The confrontations. The festival. The final, ugly truth about Emily and Ethan. I talk for 2 straight hours. Allison barely interrupts. She listens. She nods. She lets the silence work when it needs to. When I finally stop, she leans back. That's a lot. It's my life, I say. For better or worse. She studies me. Do you regret it? I don't answer right away. I think about the lost time. The lies. The people I trusted who didn't deserve it. I regret believing in the wrong people, I say slowly. I regret the years I spent building something that wasn't real. I regret ignoring signs I didn't want to see. I pause. But do I regret fighting back? No. Not for a second. Even though you lost friends, she asks. They weren't real friends. Even though half the town thinks you're heartless? I don't live for the town's approval, I say. I live with myself. And I know this, I didn't roll over. I didn't make myself smaller to make others comfortable. I stood up when everyone else told me to stay quiet. I proved that you don't owe grace to people who chose to hurt you. Allison smiles. That's one hell of a closing line. It's not a line, I say. It's just true. She packs up her recorder and notebook. I'll send you a draft before anything goes out. Make sure I got it right. I appreciate that. She heads for the door, then stops. Turns back. For what it's worth, she says, I don't think you're a villain. I think you're someone who refused to be a victim. And honestly? The world needs more of that. After she leaves, I stay at the bar a while longer. Margaret sets another beer in front of me without asking. You all right, honey? Yeah, I say. And I mean it. Because here's what I've learned. Revenge doesn't heal you. It doesn't undo the past or stitch broken things back together. But it does something else. It gives you your power back. It reminds you that you're not helpless. That betrayal doesn't mean silence. That survival doesn't require submission. You can fight back. You can endure. And you can come out the other side standing. The house always wins. Not because it's better or smarter or more deserving. But because it understands the game. It knows the odds. It knows when to hold, when to fold, and when to burn the table down and start over. I learned that lesson the hard way. But I learned it. And I won't forget it.